something I am not, Tragically Hip, today on the Music Universe podcast.
I'm speechless.
That one got him. That one got him. You and I, buddy, we are the tragically unhip.
I will give you that.
You're a little more hip than me because you're a drummer.
Well, of course.
And you're a damn good drummer.
Well, thank you. I got to chat with these guys. Really popular in Canada. I know they didn't quite get the popularity here in the States, and they should have. I mean, I don't know if you listen to the music at all, but very classic rock style. I mean, Road Apples is what we're talking about, the 30th anniversary of it.
Are you sure it's not called Rotten Apples?
Yeah, I was going to get to that. A little blooper flub, whatever you want to call it, as we kicked off the interview, or as I kicked it off with them. And they joked about it, but you got to listen to the whole interview as we kind of go full circle with why that's funny to them. They were not offended at all. They were super cool. I talked to Johnny, the drummer, and Gord, the bassist, and we chatted for a good 25 minutes or so, and had talked about everything, really about the popularity of the album, and about, even as we mentioned on a previous episode, the 30th anniversary of a lot of groundbreaking albums.
Right.
Theirs is mixed right in there with it in a beautiful box set. It's available digitally now. It came out November 5th. That's everywhere. But if you're looking for physical copies, that's going to be November 12th in Canada, then November 19th here in the States, then 26th for the rest of the world on a 4 CD Blu-ray Pure Audio and a 5 LP Blu-ray Pure Audio box with a poster, which is kind of a thing now. Johnny Fay and Gord St. Clair of the Tragically Hip, welcome to the Music Universe podcast. How are you both doing?
Doing great, buddy. Thanks.
Great, buddy. Thank you.
Awesome.
Good to be with you.
Well, thank you. Well, glad to have you guys, and some great music here. I'll have to be honest. Being in the States, I wasn't real familiar. I thought you guys were more of a pop band, and then when I was sent these tracks, I was like, this is right up my alley. I don't know why I never knew about the music long before now, because this is just great, like classic rock style, and it's the 30th anniversary of Rotten Apples, your second album. What's it like to revisit it after all these years?
Well, it's been great. It's actually Road Apples, but Rotten Apples there were a couple reviews along those lines too.
I was looking right at it, and
not a worry, man. Not a worry. No, it's been
maybe that's why it didn't fly in the States.
yeah, that's right.
I always try to avoid those mishaps whenever I do this, because I know something's gonna just slip incorrectly, and
no worries.
Not a worry, man. Could have been something to do with the 7 record companies we were on down there too.
Well, that tends to have it. But Road Apples 30th anniversary, what's it like revisiting that project?
It's been a very good process for us, actually. Very sadly, 5 years ago we lost our singer Gord, and it was a really difficult process, not only going through that, but in the years that followed. He was a real prime catalyst in the band and a real motivator, and we kind of found ourselves without direction or purpose for a very long time, until our guitar player Rob was reading the newspaper, the Times, and read about a fire on the Universal lot, and got concerned that we may have lost some master tapes. Our name was on a list, and contacted us right away, and that really got the ball rolling on this. We were signed to MCA America at the time. Fortunately, our stuff was not lost in that fire, but it was not easy to find, and that kind of coalesced us as a group again, along with Gord's brothers, and and yeah, and it's been quite an amazing process ever since. Not only rediscovering music that we hadn't heard in 30 years, but all the conversations that went in and the meetings that went into to put this out finally. So it's been good.
Yeah, and you know, we covered extensively that that news of that Universal lot fire, and just that long list. It just makes your heart, even as a fan, makes your heart sink. Like, oh my word, all these
Sure.
recordings are gone, and you know, being able to hopefully having gone back and finding these items, you know, makes you obviously feel better. But I'm hoping that list wasn't as extensive as it initially was reported. But just going back, I mean, does it bring you back? Because I know there's a live show from the Roxy here in Los Angeles on it. Does it just take you back to all these memories and like, man, I remember this now, and maybe you didn't remember it then, and just kind of just reliving those wondrous times?
You know, it's funny because I think of all the recordings that we've done. I think for me that's really never left my brain. That house, that situation, that time in New Orleans. It was September, so it was really muggy hot there. And you know, I think Don Smith, who we worked with a bunch of times, who was really our guy who you know, was able to capture the band. He was able in that recording to capture the humidity on the recording, and that album's got great backbone. You know, of us being on the road for a couple of years, and you know, sort of honing playing as a live band. And we went into the studio there and used monitors. It was probably not dissimilar to playing at you know, the Roxy. So it was a great process, and so that one, you know, is never far from my mind. That recording, that situation, that time in our career.
Yeah, and I was about to ask if you guys did it live, because it's just so craftfully put together. And you know, your drums, Johnny, just a heavy backbeat, heavy backbone in the pocket, and you know, you guys just really connect really well. You can tell that you guys were just having fun and wrote some great music.
Yeah, thanks. We were primarily a live group. I mean, that's how we've always earned our living, and that's how we kind of wrote with the audience in mind, with live performance in mind. And I think uh, Don Smith and our A&R guy at the time, Bruce Dickinson, sort of recognized that in us. We were still super young when we made Road Apples, and Don was instrumental in teaching us an element of restraint in a studio environment. Even though we were playing together, you know, our inclination was to come out swinging really hard and punch ourselves out in the first round. And Don really taught us how to play together and to listen to each other. You know, and we would play what we would think would be a great take, and he would say, yeah, that was fantastic, do it again, that was fantastic, do it again. And then when we listened back, you realize why he was having us do repeated performances, because you could just hear he was trying to capture that energy, that authentic energy on tape. And it's easier said than done. And we kind of learned that from that experience recording with him, and carried it with us forward, like Johnny was saying.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you can overdub as much as you want, but if the initial performance of you guys are not there, it doesn't really click.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. And now this set, I did see an unboxing video. I know you guys have a vinyl set and a CD set, of course, digitally. What's going to be the difference, if any, from the two sets? And that comes out November 12th, digitally November 5th, and streaming, of course. What are there any differences between the vinyl and the CD sets if people have not seen that box yet, that unboxing video?
No, I think they're pretty much set up. You know, obviously one's vinyl and one's CD, but I think we entered into the world of Atmos for the first time on this stuff, and it was really incredible because you know, when we were doing this record, there was this thing that was just coming out, and it was God, what was it called? Don Smith was telling us about it. Um, and it was a new sort of way of splitting up the speaker. Well, they really didn't sort of get it right, but I think with the Atmos, what's really incredible is if you're listening on headphones, you're getting all the vocal inflections. The cymbals are way in the background there, and so it's a really incredible experience. It's like being in the room with this, especially in this kind of recording. You know, when you're, well, like you're talking about, layering stuff is different, but when you're doing it live and everything's being captured, I mean, you're hearing, Gord breathing. So it's a very experience for us, and it took us a bunch of years to get it all together. So it's I think it's a package we're very happy with the way it came out. Robbie, our guitar player, did a lot of, he put this whole package together, visually and conceptualized with the guys at Universal.
Yeah, and that's that Atmos audio is available on a Blu-ray audio. So it'd probably be best if someone listened to it on a surround sound system then, correct?
Well, you're asking the wrong guy, because I've lost so much hearing over the years, as I'm sure you have, being a drummer.
You hear better out of one ear than the other.
All that stuff is lost on me, but it's good. The Atmos stuff I could hear because I was in the room, and it's just right up front. You can, it really brings you back to the initial recording of it.
I believe the vinyl does come with a poster, correct? I think I saw that in the unboxing video.
Yes, there's a poster in both the CD and the vinyl packages for the bedroom wall.
Nice. Yeah, I got a bunch of different posters here. I've been buying frames, so I think if somebody's a real big fan, they should go out and buy a frame and have that plastered right on their wall.
100%.
So with the anniversary edition and the 30th anniversary at that, I mean, there's just a lot of iconic albums celebrating that this year. Of course, off air, we're talking about Bob Rock, and he's, highly associated with Metallica, which is also celebrating the 30th anniversary. Any thoughts on just all these iconic albums celebrating 30 years and you guys being right in there with it in this beautiful box?
Yeah, I have a few thoughts on that, actually. It's funny when you're in the middle of it, when you're sitting in the van driving down the highway, you don't really think about it. But in retrospect, we were at a wonderful time in music and music culture in North America and really worldwide, where the label system was still really strong and very healthy, and music occupied a really important part in people's lives. And we were, that time period was the advent of CDs and stuff. And Road Apples was our first release on CD as well, which kind of had its own failed promises, that they're going to last forever. But it was, there's so many bands out playing and so many bands getting signed, and I think most importantly, people were going to see music a lot. Like a lot of these bands, our contemporaries, were really live oriented acts, and you think in retrospect of what we've just been through, 2 years of no live performance. There's a quality to the musicianship that's influenced by that opportunity to play in front of people, and so anything that's kind of drawing attention to that and celebrating that, I think, is a really, really good thing. I'm still a music fan first and foremost, and I miss not being able to see live music, and I think that's why the inclusion of that live show from the Roxy going back in time, it was really important for this package, because it reminds you of that energy, that communal congregating energy that you get when you're at a show and you look around and you see, wow, that guy, that gal, they're there too. They must, they're fans. So ergo, we are friends, and that's the great thing about it. I miss it, and I hope we get back there. And so I think it's a really great thing. This looking back to look forward,
Yeah, Johnny, you have any comments on that yourself?
Yeah, I mean, when we were going through these tracks, it was amazing when we were sort of throwing up the faders and just trying to do a balanced mix the very first time they were heard. It was amazing, the economy of tracks, the way that Don recorded this band was extremely unique. I mean, he'd done a lot of great work with Tom Petty, the Traveling Wilburys, and Keith Richards records, and that's kind of where we were sort of, you know, hoping we could plug our band into that kind of a sound. And I mean, on Little Bones, for instance, I think there's 14, 13 tracks. You know, we got a lot of, in those days you had to leave, for time code, you had to leave the 23rd track blank so there was no bleed over to it. But Don he was able to balance the recording. And that's why I think it's very unique recording, a unique time for our band, and recorded in this incredible house in one of the greatest cities in the world, New Orleans. So yeah, that's where I kind of go back to with this recording.
Yeah, and it's definitely captured extremely well, like we've discussed. But when you're talking the live recordings now, it seems like it was a thing, not necessarily as much as today, but that back then, it's almost like you recorded every show multi-tracked. Is that something you guys did, and then you just pick a favorite and release it, or how does that come about? Like, why was the Roxy chosen?
Well, you know, we didn't get ourselves into a situation where we were able to record multis for quite a long time. We took a Tascam DA88 rig out with us on one big tour and recorded every show. But this is just a great example of serendipity, really, more than anything. I mean, we were doing well in Canada, but we were still a club act. You know, we kind of graduated from the Whiskey to the Roxy, you know, at that time in our career. But we were coming into Los Angeles to play back when Westwood One was a going concern, and they had their own 2-inch facility, recording facility, a mobile, and they would record shows, and we were just super fortunate that they wanted to do one with us at our Roxy show. Don Smith was actually in town, so was able to get in the truck and record us, and then it kind of, it was released through the Westwood One network back in the day, and then kind of stuck in a box and not to be heard from again. So to stumble upon it again and to listen to it and hear it again, it carries me right back to that moment in time, and carries me back to listening how Don Smith mixed the band. I mean, it's really not dissimilar from the way he mixed Road Apples. That's kind of how it sort of influenced it, like the, Paul Langlois stands on stage right, and you can hear him on the stage right side of your stereo, so it was just super, super cool. So yeah, it would have been great to have multi-tracked every show, but we were in a van, we wouldn't have had room for the Studer.
Yeah, those machines could be pretty monstrous then, and now you just have these little devices that you can get 4-6 channels out of, if not more.
Yeah, that's right.
So I know you guys are celebrating this. You're looking forward to this. Everybody getting to hear all these tracks that are new to them, obviously not to you guys. Are there any particular studio tracks that stand out to both of you that you just fell in love with, forgot about, and now you've relived it, and like, I can't believe we left that off the original?
Well, I think that there were, Gordon and I have talked about this, when the rhythm section, and you listen to something, you say, there was a real vibe to that one. And like, Don would say, do it again. And I'm sure we had some arguments. I mean, we're musicians, so we're going to, be opinionated about this stuff. And I think it kind of gives you a view into the process of making this record. There's an incredible version of Fiddler's Green. There was an outtake, and that could have just stood on its own. It's beautiful song. The acoustic version of Little Bones, it was actually it was dovetailed into from the band version, where Gord Sinclair's playing guitar with Gord Downey, and it kind of gives you a view into the late night acoustic-y sounds that we got out of that house. So I think there's something for everyone there, definitely.
Yeah. Gord, how about you?
Yeah, I couldn't agree more with what Johnny was saying. There included in the package is another album, another CD of outtakes of just alt versions and really not demo versions, but it kind of details. If you go backwards, it details how the songwriting emerged and what our process was for that. It was always a constant evolutionary process, and much like the live show as well. You know, a live concert is a moment in time, and you know, our singer Gord was super creative and would go off on tangential stories like, you know, not performance art, but it really amounted to performance art, and the band would follow, or extended guitar solos. And we, you know, we were really good at playing with each other. And if someone was cooking off something really, really cool, we would follow and take it, you know, and follow the journey and build it up from a musical perspective. And so that's in there as well. You know, it really is, when you're making a record, it's a recording of a moment in time, and that's not only live, but certainly in the studio as well. You know, and it's amazing to be able to go back through that process and hear how it evolved.
Yeah, absolutely. And are you guys back planning anything together, any shows to support this, anything like that? If I didn't see that in my notes here, that you guys may, you know, the three of you get back together for anything, is that being planned?
Well, we did a show for the Junos, and that was quite a process, just getting stuff together and not sort of being in our studio in 4 years together as a band. That took some planning. So I don't think that we would ever say no to anything like that. But it definitely, as we're without our singer, it definitely is something we would not sort of say yes to everything. We're just kind of taking it day by day, which is, I think, is healthy for the band. At this point, we have all this great music that, some of it is coming out later on, more unreleased stuff, and we're still finding it. And I think, for where we are as a band right now, it's kind of an important part to this, to be archaeologically kind of doing this. I think this is where we're supposed to be at the moment. Playing, we did for 30 some years, and that was great. So we'll just see where it takes us.
Yeah. Gord, do you have anything you want to add?
Yeah, I agree with 100% with what Johnny's saying. We're Rob Baker tells it really eloquently, I think, but you're talking to guys that spent 30 plus years together doing everything together, celebrating achievements and commiserating over failures all together as a group. And then we lose an integral part of that group, and we're all kind of blown in different directions. So I'm just really grateful that this occasion of this 30th anniversary has brought us back together and set us back on a course. And I've always been in the never say never camp, but I think we would, yeah, I mean, it's great. We now meet very regularly. Gord's younger brother, Pat Downey, sits on all our meetings, and so the Downey family is included in every decision that we make. And I think that's going to allow us to make the right decisions for whatever comes down the road in front of us, so I'm just super grateful for that and excited about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, guys, it's been an absolute pleasure having you both for the Road Apples 30th anniversary.
Thanks, buddy.
CD, vinyl set, as well as digital and streaming available as we speak, ahead of as this is airing. So it'll be out by that point. You guys want to add anything else before we head off?
Yeah, don't worry about the rotten apples thing. We've joked for years. That was there was I think it was a Dutch interviewer or maybe a German interviewer that
It was German. Yeah.
And we whenever after a lousy show we would put on our fake German accents and talk about rotten apples, and it was always so it was nice. That's why we laughed so hard. So yeah, don't worry.
Well, hey, that's good. I'm glad you laughed at it and didn't get all mad with me.
Not at all. Not at all.
Well, guys,
Great.
it's been a pleasure. Great to meet you both. Hopefully down the road, I'll see you in Los Angeles if you're ever there together, individually, whatever. Would love to say hi and looking
The
forward.
NAM show. The NAM show.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Go to the
there you
NAM
go. I need to check into that. Hopefully see you guys there. But thanks again for joining me, and can't wait to see what people are saying about the project for the 30th anniversary.
Great. Thanks,
Awesome.
buddy. Take care. Stay safe.
You too,
Take
guys.
care.
Okay, see you,
Bye.
Johnny.
Now, don't go anywhere. I know the interview's over, but Buddy has some clarifications on some dates and stuff
Yeah.
that we need to go over before we let you go. Buddy, go ahead.
Yeah, it was pretty much what I said to kick things off. November 12th, the physical copies are available in Canada, November 19th in the US, and then 26th for everywhere else. Another thing I wanted to clarify too, if it wasn't clear when we started talking, they were incorrectly listed on the losses from the Universal Lot fire. The music was already in storage in their homeland of Canada, but the band wasn't aware of it until they started searching for music for this project. So just in case that wasn't clear, they were not.
They're safe. They're good.
Yeah, they're good. They're good. They're good. And I believe, as we found out later on, that extensive list was shrunk quite a bit,
Right.
because I know a lot of people that were on it have released projects.
And you know, it's not just musicians, it's comedians, it's actors, it's authors, it's directors, all manner of media that was stored in those buildings was victim to that fire.
Mhm.
So it's not just artists, it's people across entertainment in all sectors.
Yeah, absolutely. But glad that it's not as extensive as it was once
sure.
thought. And this is a great album, great project. And if you're not familiar with them, you really should be, because if you like classic rock and like a really well balanced and mixed project, this is it.
Excuse me for the cough. Want to give everybody a little bit of an update. I'm okay. I had a little bit of an incident that landed me in the hospital. Oh gosh, as this airs, probably about a month ago. But this was the weekend before you were going to record Dina. And actually, I didn't miss Dina because of this. I missed Dina because of a family event that I had to go to. But I was in the hospital. They scoped me, and I had a sore throat from the scope that healed. And then right after that healed, literally the next day, I got a sore throat from a viral infection that I probably picked up at the family function that I was at back in Pennsylvania. So I'm finally on the mend, feeling better enough to do my favorite thing. And what is my favorite thing, buddy?
Concerts and traveling and
Travel, ding, 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 ding. Concerts, yes, I'll put them on the same level because concerts sometimes involve traveling. And I'm heading down to Branson, Missouri for a very cool reason. Not to do actually with any concert, although I will be seeing concerts, and we're going to interview our friend Rhonda Vincent while I'm down there. But there's something really cool that I can't talk about because, much to Buddy's consternation, a local television station down there, I've promised the exclusive to for this, but it's really cool.
You
It's
promised them the local exclusive, us the world exclusive.
the world exclusive, but they have to go first because, Buddy, I want to get you the footage. I want to report on this from down there. It's
Okay.
a really, really cool thing. And it's killing me not to talk about it because, Buddy, you know what it is. My friends on Facebook sort of know what it is if
Well,
I've been in touch with you about it. But
there's a post circling our website if people
yes,
find to
it's
find it.
related to
Want to do a
something
little
in Branson.
want to do a little journalistic
Yes,
background
so
of your own.
you can figure out what it is based on a post that Buddy was gracious enough to do from a press release that myself and a historical society down in Branson sent out. So that's all I'll say. But again, I promised the world exclusive announcement to the music universe after we can get some B-roll and some footage and some interviews in Branson with the local TV station. And this is really cool. This is a dream come true of mine. I'm super excited to head down there. And I got to tell you, buddy, It is. I love to go to Branson. I don't get down there as often as I do Vegas or Nashville now because it is super difficult to get to Branson. There's no direct flight from any of my 3 local airports. I do not like layovers for personal reasons having to do with my physical condition. Because if I'm delayed an hour and I have an hour layover, I am SCREWED.
Well, I don't like them either because usually they're a pain in the ass.
Right. So yeah, and they're just a pain in the butt. So I'm just but I don't get down there often, but this is important. Have to go down there, have to do this. Going to see some shows while I'm down there. Still working on that. Very few celebrities in Branson anymore, but there's going to be some cool people in town when I'm there. So watch out for those reviews. And actually, one of the artists doesn't come my way. He kind of just stays. Actually, some of the people I'm going to see down there, they really kind of stay in the Midwest and the South. They don't come to the East. So I'm actually staying as long as I'm staying down there because there's one show in particular that I really want to see while I'm down there, Neil McCoy. And so we're already in and confirmed to go see Neil McCoy's full band show at the Mansion Theater in Branson.
I'll have to give him a wink.
What's that?
You'll have to give him a wink.
That was fun. That was so much. I still can't believe we got to do that.
There's no doubt about it. That was fun.
I'm gonna hang up on you on the Zoom call in just a second. Okay.
Are you
all right? I
praying
got you earlier with the not tragically hip. You got me with the Neil McCoy puns, and I think we'll just leave it there. But buddy, you have history in Branson too.
Yeah. First time I ever went was 93. Then I went back in 95 and then again in like 2007. And I haven't been back since, but
I bet that differential between the heyday and 2007 was dramatic.
yeah, because Branson Commons was open. I believe that's what it's called, isn't it? Something like that downtown, like a big hall in
Branson Landing.
Branson Landing. That's what
Yep.
tells you.
See, I'm a secret Branson historian.
Mhm.
I love that town, and I've kind of been doing like a forensic entertainment study on it since I first interned there 10 years ago. So you're going to get a lot of content from me when I'm in Branson because
Well, that's good.
I'm just fascinated with that place.
And that's fine because I like that you're kind of giving people a view of what it's like now. Maybe people are interested, maybe people aren't, but you're kind of
Well, it gets a bad rap as being this uncool, hokey place, but you have the Ozark Mountains, you have Shepherd of the Hills, which is the oldest continuing play in American history. You have the beautiful landscape. You have Silver Dollar City, which is just an incredible amusement park. And now that I actually make good money in my day jobs, I can actually afford to go to Silver Dollar City from Branson. I have make it rain. No, they do Christmas beautifully, so I'm really excited to see that. I'm a big Christmas nerd. Branson always does it up for Christmas. In fact, when I was there 3 years ago, they started their Christmas in October, which I even think that's a little too soon. But this year they started in November. You start rehearsing in October, obviously, but so I just, it gets this rap as being this uncool place, and I get it. It's not for everyone. It's not Vegas. It is not full of casinos and burlesque shows. It is a family-friendly entertainment destination that is evolving.
Yeah.
Some say it's suffering, some say it's evolving, and the jury's still out because it has an economy it needs to support, and we just got to see where it goes. So I'm excited to get to talk to the locals about all of that, especially from this position of being media now, more so than I was 3 years ago. So with everything we're doing.
I know they don't have them anymore, but did you ever drive or ride the ducks?
No.
Yeah, we did in 93 when we were there. We got a family picture somewhere. Actually, a picture.
There were safety concerns about that for years.
Yeah.
People were screaming, hey, something's going to go wrong. So,
well, I don't remember any of that talk. I mean, I wasn't even 10 years old when I went. So my brother and I got to get on the driver's lap and ride it, move the steering wheel in the in the water there. But yeah, I don't believe they're open anymore with what happened several years ago. But it was a neat experience. And in '93, we went, my parents with my brother, me, and then my grandpa, my dad's side, and his two sisters went as a family on a
Sure.
vacation. And we saw Ferlin Husky at the Christie Lane Theater. And he had gone to school with my grandpa
Oh, cool.
and didn't know we were in the audience, and started telling a story about him. And then everybody, my family's like, oh, he's right here. He's right here. And we got to hang out afterward and talk to him right inside the venue, but right by the door that goes backstage. I don't know. I don't remember how long we spoke.
Did you ever go see Jim Stafford?
No, see, I didn't know any of those acts. So
Well, the theater was such a prominent thing on the Strip. It was like a must do.
Oh, I'm
whether you
sure
knew
I've
who he was.
I'm sure
or
I've
not.
seen it and just don't recall. But
Sure.
and then in '95 we went back, and I don't remember a whole lot about that. But then I
Sure.
met a friend there in 2007, and actually drove back from Branson to Nashville. So I know you expressed interest initially in that. I'm like, don't go this way, go this way. But then I'm like, well, you're kind of even with it more so than Nashville. So I don't know, get it figured out. And I know you're going to have fun there. And then,
And I got to tell you, in all honesty, I can't wait to share this news with everybody, because it fills my heart with such joy to be able to do what we're going to do.
Mhm.
And to be able to say that for a minute, because I'm not going to be the owner of this item for fully. I'm going to still have a majority stake in it. But for right now, I am the full owner of a really cool Branson landmark. And that's all I'm going to say. So
Well-
we have announcements as to what we're going to do with that landmark, where it's going to go, who it's going to go to, how you'll be able to see it. All of that forthcoming after we talk to KSPR KY3, because I want to get you, buddy, the B-roll from being down there.
Yeah.
So
we could throw in here. So
Yeah.
that would be cool. And I hope, I don't know if we've discussed this, but I hope you will do some videos without them as well, and just do on your phone, share on social, share here, and then
sure.
we'll put it into the episode. But right after that, we're meeting in Vegas.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are.
That
I
is
cannot
coming.
wait.
I was optimistic, but we're less than a month away now, and I can tell you, I needed out
Because when things started to dip again, and we'll talk about this in our year in review wrap, which we should record, by the way, in Vegas. This is how we plan. I call him up on the phone and we should do this. We should do that.
Now we're just sharing it with everybody ahead of time.
So, which we should record our year in review in Vegas, because that's kind of going to be it, unless I go see TSO at one of their dates.
Right.
When everything started to dip and Garth canceled his stadium tour, I was clenched for a little while. I was like, I don't know.
I think there was clinched.
Yes, because Garth, as I have said for almost 2 years now, Garth and the big Garth tour, stadium tour, is the barometer for when crap is going to be normal. And if he's getting off the road because he's worried about stuff, that might mean other shows are not going to go ahead as well.
Right.
So I think, as I told you this morning, I actually think Garth called it a little too early. Could have just pushed some things one more time, because last night, as we're recording this, I was at a show in Virginia, and they had a scroll on their screen of all the shows that are coming up. And I'm like, that is a full slate. It's like there's no COVID.
But
So
at the same time,
we're back.
To argue that point, you're looking at a small venue compared to 80,000+ people.
Well, that's true. And there's some politics with the bigger venues. Like there was this one headline that made it sound like only 30 people out of the 70,000 were vaccinated at a Garth concert. That's not true.
That's clear.
There was a vaccination clinic at a Garth concert, and only 30 people took them up.
Right.
And by the way, I wouldn't go get vaccinated at a concert.
You're there for the concert, right?
You're there for the concert. And what if you have, I know some people who had effects immediately after getting it, some 24-hour delay, some immediately. I would not want to put myself in a situation where I might possibly not be able to enjoy the concert.
Right. Well,
So-
and as of this writing too, or I'm in journalist mode. As of this recording too, 5 to 11-year-olds now can get the dose, but
Indeed,
not sure what I'm going to do. I didn't like.
there's parental reticence and all
Well,
that stuff.
I was
So-
all for it, and I'm not anti-vax, but I was all for it. And then I read that they basically said, well, we're not going to know how any reactions until we give it. And I don't know that I want my child to be a guinea pig.
Exactly,
That's the-
exactly.
So
So
I think we're probably going to keep on the trajectory that we are, wearing the masks. I even wear it out, even though I'm vaccinated, just because I'm paranoid and I don't want her catching it.
awesome.
The hell?
Edit this out. I'm like seeing if the TV at the top of the frame can be. Nope. Okay.
I don't want to edit that. I want to keep that.
All right. For the Music Universe podcast, I'm a very overheated Matt.
And Buddy, just trying to get through the day. Hit that like, subscribe, and share button. Keep checking out themusicuniverse.com for more, and we'll see or hear from you next time.